Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to part 6 of our MotoGP 25 Let's Play. Yes, we return this weekend here at Montlagarde. Yes, of course, I've already done a race on the mini bikes before on this game. Sadly, that video never made it to YouTube, but hopefully this one will. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from Le Mans, I would highly recommend going back and check it out. This weekend, though, we're back at Silverstone. We're 14th now in the standings. Things are not looking great for us. Adrian Fernandez, though, things are looking fantastic for him on 114 points there, 33 clear of Tyro Furasato. Rueda in third ahead of Munoz and Almanza. When we have a look at some of the other standings as well, Holgado leading in Moto 2 ahead of Vietti and Arenas there. And over in MotoGP, Ayagura now at the top of the standings ahead of Jorge Martin and Maverick Vinales as well there. So lots of chopping and changing in the other two series right now. But yeah, let's head then here to Montlagarde. Hopefully we can have some fun. Well, here we are then in the beautiful Montlagarde. This time around we're going up against my rival Maximo Quilez for a mini race here. And hopefully, obviously, we can try and get a good start. I've remembered for once about the manual starts on this game. 10 red lights are on, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go. Now, like I mentioned, I have actually done one quick little run in these mini bikes before, but I believe that was somewhere else inside this game. They're very, very good fun, but quite difficult to try and handle there as... See, oh, we're going to immediately cut a bit of a corner and just completely throw someone wide. These races are only kind of like 2-3 minutes long, but they are quite good fun just to do something a little bit different. In the last one, I started from pole and I ended up last place by the end of it, as I'm going to send Rueda to the shadow around there. But as long as... I don't even know if it's possible to fall off these bikes. It feels like you can really be aggressive with them through the corners as well there, as well. David Alonso and I, well, having a little bit of contact as we'll go for a very, very early approach into the next corner there, but you can see all we're doing is holding everybody up behind Quilez right now. There's a lot of barging and banging through the final couple of corners, but yeah, I mean, these things are so kind of momentum based. You've got to be so careful and kind of precise with them, so very, very easy to kind of get out of shape as well. Obviously a lot of very fast changes of direction, especially on such a small stage as well, but looks like track limits and penalties and everything like that are fairly forgiving though. I mean, these challenges are really meant to be a little bit of fun. You know, they're just meant to kind of divide up the kind of core gameplay a little bit more. It's a nice little feature. I can't see it being like something that, you know, when we're 6 seasons deep into this game or something like that, I can't see it being something we're doing all too much anymore. But, you know, it's fun to give it a try a few times early on as... Oh, again, someone else there, no idea who that was, trying to get a dive on me. Is, oh, you can fall off. No. My confidence there maybe got the better of me, and we're only ahead of Maverick Vinales there, so a very, very odd group of riders kind of in this race. I don't know whether it's, like, from, like, a certain academy or something like that, or whether it's just, like, randomly assigned. But, yeah, Maverick Vinales a long way off the rear of the field. I can only assume that's the guy that I threw off on lap 1, so one of the kind of riders fighting for the MotoGP championship, I might have, you know, broken some bones or something like that for poor Maverick there. I mean, right, this is a question for the MotoGP loyalists out there. Is Maverick his real first name, or is it like some pseudonym? Because if it is, on the one hand, for a motorbike rider, that's very, very cool. On the other hand, if he worked in like accounts in an office building or something, imagine trying to ring up going, where are the quarterly fiscals? And going, oh yeah, Maverick needs to email him over. Doesn't quite have the same effect in my eyes. He's definitely got the right job for the name. But round in the final corner then, we are going to beat him in this race, so I guess that's good news, unless I completely balls up this final corner, which I will. P11 in the end. That was good fun.
From the Silverstone circuit.
The second Moto3 practice session is about to start. A reminder, the first 14 riders in the combined times will gain direct access to Q2.
Well, maybe I need to go to Silverstone for the MotoGP at some point in the future. I think it's not too far away, as, well, that's about the standard way you would expect me to start a session inside this game. But yeah, back at our home race, though, this weekend. I genuinely don't know if there's a British MotoGP rider. I'm sure there is. Again, my knowledge of the sport is not exactly impressive. But I am slowly learning. I'm picking up more and more of it as I go along. You know, learning on the job, as they say. But yeah, we need a good result this weekend. We need to try and score a few points on the board. Looks like it's going to be similar weather to last weekend, though. Of dry running on Friday and Sunday, but not dry on Saturday qualifying. But I don't know if it's just as I'm trying to build up more and more confidence on the game and starting to get slightly better at it, I hope. But yeah, the bike seems really unstable this weekend. So yeah, we're kind of all over the show early on. Of course, we will get a few laps under our belt. We will slowly kind of learn and build up the confidence. So I always forget that MotoGP uses the other layout out onto the hangar straight. Gotta remember that. Well, top times then coming onto the board early on, and it looks like fast times are going to be down in the low 211s then. And again, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we do seem to be getting more and more kind of on the pace so far this season. As don't get done for track limits, 2:11.9 that time, so 8/10 away. But for a second lap, I mean, look how much the bike, though, is trying to escape from underneath me. It's never a problem in Formula 1, but quite a few of the corners here have a bump going into them. And if you're already on the brakes, that just unsettles the rear end so badly. Well, with that heavy rain expected then for Saturday qualifying, of course, the goal for everybody is make it straight through into Q2, but especially for us, I think, great. Apparently I just keep doing that every time I try and start a lap. Yeah, the only thing I'm getting slightly worried about is that Quillers has decided to show up this weekend, clearly spurred on by his victory on the mini bikes. He's the first rider to dip into the 211s. Sorry, under the 211s. Well, I've basically tried to do what I did last weekend, come out for what is effectively a qualifying lap here in free practice, and so far it's going quite well for us, half a second up. As we make our way down in towards the final couple of corners, just got to try and hit my marks in towards this final chicane. Can be so difficult to try and do, as weirdly on the MotoGP games, the transition there's actually uphill, so it really does kind of unsettle the bike just a little bit more. Trying to avoid that curb, and on the exit, we keep the foot to the floor. A little bit cheeky, but we do a 210.8, and that should hopefully see us through. Well, there we are. Angel Paqueros finding a lot of time towards the end of the session ahead of Yamanaka. Rowida in P3 ahead of Quillers and myself. Looks like both us and Noah Detweiler will make it through straight into Q2. Any major surprises? Stefano Nepa out in Q1. He'll be disappointed. David Almanza as well. He'll be a bit sad to be having to try and fight his way through Q1. But let's head straight into qualifying.
Back at the circuit for the second Moto3 qualifying session. The first riders are about to get out on track and battle their way to the best grid positions for tomorrow's race.
Well, even the autopilot then struggling to keep the bike on the road, so no idea how well we're going to fare in this qualifying session. So are we going to get immediately dive bomb there? You just see someone on the proximity arrows close up behind me. He's got to be so careful on the throttle on the exit. I mean, that's where we lose most of the time around this venue, is obviously in the wet conditions, is on that throttle. Haven't got to brake much earlier into the corners, I find, as Noah Detweiler definitely has a bit more confidence there, but we will try and switch our teammate on the exit. And this is not what we need immediately. Myself and Detweiler putting up a bit of a swabble. Try and go slow in, fast out in towards the next couple of corners. I mean, this is just genuinely a great battle at the moment. Detweiler will send it in deep through the exit of the loop. We will get the grip. He'll give us a little bit of a push on the exit. I do often find, actually, that we're not much slower, maybe even quicker sometimes, when we're battling with another rider. So, Sector 1, it's not the ideal way to be doing things, but it is very good fun as well. I'm sure Detweiler's going to send it back in again, which he will. And I'm sure, again, we will try and switch him on the exit, down in towards Luffield. This is probably the best and cleanest battle I've had all season, and it's coming immediately in qualifying against our teammate. Arguably the worst time, with the worst person to have said battle. Oh, again, look at that. I mean, how confident he is on the brakes to try and get that power down there, but on the exit of the corner again, we do seem to be losing a little bit. My only kind of real plan of attack is just match the throttle on corner exit. And, well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, as we get a little bit lucky not to get the lap time invalidated there. Try and just ease on that throttle pedal, though, through the final corner. 2:25.2. We do go a tenth of a second quicker than our teammate, but I would assume other riders will go much faster. We are going to find a low more time then on this second run, having a few less battles with our teammate. Try and get the power down, though. Only going to run a 24.6, so that leaves us about a second away from Paqueras at the top of the board. I have just about got enough fuel for one more lap, though. Through the final couple of corners then, I have had the lap of my life here. 1.2 seconds up. As we try and get the power down, I'm going to keep my foot to the floor on the exit of the final corner, all over the track limits. But a 1:23.3, that'll put us provisionally fastest right now. Suddenly, the pace is back on this game. Well, apparently, again then, the glitch. As soon as you head back to the pit lane, just whoever's on a lap, I believe their times get simulated far too quickly here. So, what should have been pole position, I reckon, ends up being P11 here. Jose Antonio Rueda will claim pole, a second clear of David Almanza. We will end up 11th, 7.5 seconds off the pace. I know for a fact I could not find that in this session, but an absolute robbery then here. But I guess we've got to get on with it in the race. At least Quiles is still starting behind us.
Welcome to the UK, all you MotoGP fans. We are live from the Silverstone circuit, one of the longest and most challenging in the entire championship. Just a few more moments and we'll switch to the starting straight for the Moto3 class race. As you can see, we're heading to the starting grid where everyone is ready for the start of the race. The weather is clear and temperatures are far from extreme. However, tyre wear will play a very important factor in today's race. That's why lots of riders have been using medium tyres in the front and rear.
Well, here we are then, ready for the race today. And yet, mediums are definitely going to be the tyre of choice, I feel, around this venue. So let's see what we can do then. Variable weather conditions, but it looks like it is going to stay dry throughout the entirety of this race. And I've got to remember, hold the clutch.
Fantastic atmosphere here at Silverstone. They're all lined up for the start, ready for some British Grand Prix action.
P11 for us then, not the ideal run at the end of qualifying. That annoying glitch on what must be the wettest MotoGP season ever. But lights out and away we go then. Not the greatest start. Actually, we could do pretty well in the second phase then, and we'll try and have a look down to the outside. Oh, into turn one, little bit of contact there with someone else. That was, I think, Yamanaka, who we just had a tiny bump with. As Joel Kelso will try and move through in towards the loop. All the other riders, whoa, trying to go very, very aggressive to the apex of turn 3 and turn 4, but we'll just about try and hang on there. And say my main goal is just get through lap 1 without getting absolutely wrecked by an AI there. Big, big run out of the loop, though, as we make our way down the Wellington straight down around the outside of Joel Kelso. And maybe we can try and have a look for a run on Yamanaka as well. There's C. Angel Paqueras. Not too far up the order as well. Oh, again, threading the needle. But yeah, the AI very, very confident on the brakes at the start of these races. Their live championship standings would see us 2 ahead of Quiles. And hopefully, nope, we're going to make that, hopefully, 3 points as back past Kelso again. Silverstone, whether it's in a car or on a bike, really does promote some fantastic racing as well, as on the inside, in towards the old turn 1 there, a little bit wide though, compromising our own exit off the corner. Of course, luckily, we will have count back over Quiles. We've had a win this season. He has not, but I don't want it to come to that there, as we've definitely got some confidence in through the S's of Maggots and Beckett's there, and you can see just how quickly we close in on some of the other riders. Very quickly have adapted to this alternate Silverstone layout. You can see some of the other riders fanning out then down onto the back straight there. Looks like David Almanza to the front of the order though, just ahead of Rueda. So far, this first lap, the first kind of properly clean ones we've had this year as well. A couple of riders nick the curbing down at the end of the straight. They're in towards Stowe, I believe. And we're making up even more places then. Very late on the brakes though. In towards the final chicane, we'll get it slowed down. And sometimes braking really late on this game works fantastically well. This is one of those occasions, as by the end of lap 1 then, oh, the KTM rider on the inside there. Gets a bit of a wobble, but we are up to 7th. I've just picked up my first track limits warning then through turn 1 there, and I can understand why they do give you a few in MotoGP. Very, very difficult to just hit your markers bang on every single time, as I remember this kind of being a little bit of a thing through MotoGP 24 of the AI that start behind you would end up being, or the AI behind you would end up being a bit slower and the AI in front would be a little bit faster. We are keeping up with your top 6 riders, but we're not really kind of challenging them just yet. There's 2 warnings in about 4 corners is not what I need to be doing. All that. Oh, yellows, we've got yellows. I think that's Buchanan that's gone. So disappointing end for him. So, I mean, this is final chicane, where we seem to really gain a lot on the AI as well. So I can break a good kind of 10-15 meters later there. You can see against Batelli, we made up a lot of time. So an 11.9, sorry, 12.0 that time around. So the lap times are looking pretty consistent as well, because that's exactly what I did the lap before. Come on, we've only got 1 more of those. But it does seem to be that final chicane and also through the S's, all of the second half of the lap. We look to be very, very quick there as Batelli has been a little bit disconnected from that group in front. Clouds are starting to roll in those. We will switch him on the exit of the corner there. Beautiful little move up into P6 as our teammate Detweiler going to pick up some warnings as well. Adrian Fernandez, though, has done a 10.8 fastest lap, so pace is ramping up here. We've got yellows, we've got yellows. Oh, that's behind us, not in front. I thought maybe a rider would come off just in front of me there, but with 1 more lap to go. That's Joe Kelso out of the race as well then, so disappointment for him lay on. But since I got past Batelli, your top 5 here, the pace has just ramped up more and more. Angel Baqueras has now done a 110.6 in this race, so ridiculously quick lap times coming in. I think there is definitely still a little bit of the AI rubber banding inside this game. Like I've said before, the faster riders are just ridiculously quick, you know, if they're still out in front of you. But, yeah, I'm just happy if we can hold on to this to score our first points of the year. Our second points of the year after Chang. That first race, definitely the AI was not at the level we should have had it at. Helped by just how bad they were in the wet conditions there. Sadly, since then, they've been fantastic in every wet conditions session we've done so far this year. More weekends have had a wet session than not so far, which is a slightly alarming statistic. As we round our way, though, up in towards the S's one final time. Looks like we should have a 5-point overhaul on Quilez as well, which is going to see us with a 3-point buffer ahead of him there. So he looked really, really good earlier on in the weekend, but the race just hasn't come to him as rounding our way through the S's one final time there. Definitely, I know I keep saying it, but I just want to improve on this game, and I can't thank you all enough for kind of being with us on this journey, trying to score points, trying to get back in. Who is going to win this race, though? I think it's looking like David Almanza at the final corner. Him and Angel Baqueras having a big battle on the run towards the line. Baqueras has done it at the very last corner. We will come through for 6th.
As the Moto3 riders do their cool-down lap, let's take a look at the final results of the race we've just seen.
Angel Baqueras stealing it at the line there ahead of David Almanza there. David Munoz as well in P3, top 3 covered by less than a 1/10 of a second. That is vintage MotoGP racing. Adrian Fernandez in P4, the head of Rueda. We did reclaim fastest lap right at the very end as well. With our first point since Chang, I am very, very happy. Batelli, Yamanaka, Foggia, Furusato will round out your top 10. They're just ahead of Quilez. Lunetta, Perone, Carraro, and Stefano Neppa will round out your top 10. Your point scorers there, with just Kelso and Buchanan failing to score. Taking a look then at our drivers' standings, Fernandez still now with a 40-point buffer at the top of the table. We will move back inside the top 10 there as well, with 35 points to our name. Munoz jumps Rueda, Baqueras and Foggia jump Ralston, as we are, the big gainer there, up 4 places from this weekend's results. Constructors-wise, Leopard still leading dominantly ahead of Rebel KTM Aho. CIP, we move back up into P7. I reckon we could get 3rd by the end of the year if we can return more frequently. Thank you all so much for watching, though. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon with more MotoGP content.